Hello, welcome once again to the Imperial Hotel in Blackpool. It's the setting, of course, for this year's Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Championship. We've reached the quarter-final stages of the men's events. 3 matches gone, 1 still to go. So let's have a look now and remind ourselves of what's happened so far. In the very first quarter-final, what an upset. The defending champion, the world #1, Gareth Potts, beaten by Adam Davis 9-6. In the next match, Phil Harrison pretty comfortable over Darren Matthew 9-2. The former world champion, Mick Hill, most impressive against Tom Ford. And still to come, featured in this programme, it's Morray Dolan against Mark Farnsworth. Now with me here in the studio is Keith Brewer, getting the benefit of your thoughts. Keith, what do you make of this particular match?
I think this one's probably the hardest one to call out of all 4. We've got 2 very accomplished players in this match, but of course they're making their debuts at this stage of the World Pool Championships. If they bring their A-games to the table today, we could be in for a fantastic game.
OK, so these 2 are going to provide us with some entertainment, you think? There'll be a contrast of styles?
Well, they both like to get on with the game, but I think probably Mark's that little bit more attacking. He's only been on the scene really probably the last 3 or 4 years, where Morray's been around for quite much longer, so he'll probably know how to set the traps better. Let's
take a check on their progress to this stage of the tournament. This is how it looks. This is the progress to this stage for Morray Dolan, who's seeded at number 8. And he beat Shane O'Hara and Tom Cousins along the way after a bye. And as far as Mark Farnsworth is concerned, he's a qualifier, of course, but what a scout for him. Jason Twist in the last 16, 8-5.
Yes, that's right. I mean, that's a fantastic result for him, and it gives you a good stepping stone, obviously, to move on to the quarter-final stage.
So if I had a prediction from you?
This is a very, very difficult one to call. You know, this could go all the way.
You can't sit on the fence, I'm afraid.
Well, I suppose I've yet to pick someone off the back of beating Jason. You'd probably say Mark might slight favourite, but to be honest, it can go either way. This,
as long as it's a good match, that's all that counts.
I'm sure it will be.
OK, fine. So there we go. Jim White once again leads the commentary. But now let's, with the players all ready, let's go to join the action.
Please welcome the players. Morray Dolan, Mark Farnsworth.
Our 4th quarter-final is seeded Morray Dolan, number 8 in this event, and the qualifier, unheralded Mark Farnsworth. Farnsworth on the right, Dolan on the left, and as Keith Brewer said, a very difficult one to call. Neither one of these players have seen the TV cameras in the World Championships before, so that is a factor that will certainly come to the fore. Settling in with the nerves, always something we watch for, especially in the early going. So it's Farnsworth to break, winning the lag. And for those of you keeping track out there, the player that has won the lag and broken the first frame has won every quarterfinal to this stage. Sean, I wonder if that's going to hold true again.
Well, it certainly could come down to a final frame decider, as Keith Brewer said down in the studio. And if it did, Mark Farnsworth would be the happier player of the 2, because, as you say, it would be him breaking in that deciding frame.
Now, Lee Kendall, you and I had a quick chat last night just about this quarter-final, and you concur with Keith Brewer. You think this is going to be a tough one to call, but you just gave the nod to Mark Farnsworth.
Yeah, slightly. Just, I mean, both have done well on the tournament stage this year, so there's not a lot to call between the 2 players, but I just slightly fancy Mark.
The early frame's obviously going to be very important, settling in, as we said. And I mean, Mark, having come through in the qualifiers, you know, and winning all those matches just to get here, he really has to be riding a wave, doesn't he?
That's right, and he's used to playing for big money as well. He's one of the money match players. I think the most he's played for is £84,000, which there's a lot of money, a lot of pressure, so he should be used to playing under this type of pressure.
And just to let all you fans and players alike at home know that this year, for the very first time, this event open to all Q-ists. Get your game in shape at your local pub and then make your way to one of the many qualifiers for your shot to become the Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Champion. Never before has everyone had a chance to win this coveted title.
So it's a tricky finish to start off with for Mark, as Morray looks on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Morray reacts. It's been a little bit of a joke with him over the last few years, that he keeps getting to the last 16 and he's never quite reached the TV stages before, never quite taken his game to that next level. So it has become a little bit of a thing with him, but he finally got past that this year, made his way to these quarterfinals, and he'll be looking to impress. I'm sure he will.
And what he did do 2 or 3 years ago, he knocked out Gareth Potts. So it shows the calibre of the player, so he's more than capable of winning this match.
Now, wayward cue ball there for Mark. But just looking at his face and the way he's moving around the table, Lee, I like what I see. He looks like a man in complete control of his emotions.
Yeah, you don't get many emotions off Mark. But this is his first big test. One pot in the top corner. Centre of the pocket. Still got a lot of work to do, though. Forced to take the red into the top right. Whether he can hold position is yet to be seen.
Well, I think that's a massive question mark right now. I just can't see him getting on that last red, even if he gets this.
He may have to rely on a little kiss once he's cut this in. Cannon on the 2 yellows above the red. Oh, he's played lots of checks out. What a great shot that is.
But is he on the red? He's probably hit that as well as he could, and I'll tell you what, he may be on this last red.
Yeah, he's played a great shot, though.
Tremendous effort. This from Mark Farnsworth.
Well, we see the shot there. That's extremely tight.
He may have to play with a little bit of right-hand side, Sean. That'll throw it into the pocket. I think he can just, yeah, he's played a little bit side. Perfect.
Yeah, pinched a little bit of the pocket.
Well, Mark Farnsworth has made me eat my words. I didn't think he'd get on that last red, but tremendous spin applied to that white. Holding for position, and what a flyer, what a start for the qualifier. Mark Farnsworth, a break and finish to open his account here, 1-0. No friends at the table. That brings Farnsworth out of his chair.
Yeah, it was quite a nice split there on the break, but as I say, nothing found the pocket, so hands the initiative straight back to Mark here in these early stages.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a good opportunity to take another frame here. It's a good choice of reds or yellows. Probably take the reds.
Played a clever little shot there, Luke. He's just nudged that yellow out of the way of the red directly below the black and just freed that up now. So this finish just come that little bit more easy now for him.
Yeah, all the reds in the open, he just needs to navigate the cue ball around.
Well, he's obviously very comfortable leaving the center of that white, as illustrated in the opening frame. The penultimate red, a great shot to drop onto the last one.
And if the red below the 8 ball goes into the centre pocket, it becomes a lot easier finish. Looks like he's played on it next. So once he clears this red out of the way, opens the frame up.
Now the winner of this quarterfinal knows they lock horns with Mick Hill. And anyone that saw the quarterfinal, Hill against Tom Ford, and the form that Mick showed, well, that's got to be cause for concern regardless of who wins this match.
Yeah, it was the best performance from Jim by a long way so far in this tournament, so it'll take some stopping with Mick Hill.
Yeah, Mick himself even said that's the best he's ever played on television. 7 break and finishes in that quarterfinal. And there you see the shot clock, 60 seconds allowed, these players, and they get the warning at 30 seconds.
Yeah, he almost missed that shot then, just sneaked in off the jaw. The cue ball's travelled a bit further because he didn't quite play it as planned. A little grimace there.
Yeah, he's just not quite found the right position on this finish. After that initial opening shot, he just struggled a little bit. But he's still in a good position here, Lee.
Yeah, he's got a little clip into the middle pocket, as we see there. If he drops that one in, he's got a choice of taking the red into the top right, bottom right as we look now.
He's looking very strong again, Lee. Just doesn't look like putting a foot wrong.
Yeah, we've not seen Mark in front of the TV cameras before, but A lot of the players around the circuit are well aware of this man's skills and ability, and he certainly is a danger and has a great chance to push on to the semi-finals and maybe even win the tournament.
Yeah, and this could be the springboard he needs, actually, because Mark had a long amateur career, and then he's moved on to the IPA tour and moved into the professional ranks, but he's not quite fulfilled the potential, I don't think, Lee, yet at that level, has he?
Well, he's self-employed, he's got a different job. I think he's a grocer, and he earns good money from that, so he never wanted to really hit the tournament circuit. He just played money matches. But boy, what a player he is, and it's good to now see him on the TV stage.
Oh, just look at that cue ball. It's parked itself in behind the yellow and left him in a total snooker.
And Murray Dolan just perked up in his chair. I think he feels like he's going to be getting a chance now. Sweaty palm time for Dolan. He trails by that odd frame, but he's got to feel like he's going to be in with a golden opportunity when he comes to the table. And he will be.
Foul.
Come on, Morray.
Two visits.
Well, that's a great result there for Dolan with the cue ball actually going in, because now he has the cue ball in hand. It could have quite easily parked itself down behind those yellows. You see there on the overhead replay.
And Morray's one of these players that likes to play quick. You won't see him having the 30-second clock shouted too many times. Gets on with business quite quickly. He's one of those players that likes to use lots of side as well, spinning the cue ball around.
Yeah, and you'll certainly see that with that spotted cue ball that we employ for these championships.
And this season on the IPA Tour, he's won his first ranking event, so this is probably his best season as a professional.
He's been seeded a couple times in this event, but he never, as Sean noted earlier on, he never gets past the last 16.
Well, we have qualifiers in Great Yarmouth, and there's 400 players that start out in that tournament, and he qualified 3 out of 4 years, and only 4 players got through on each occasion, so it shows how good a player he is.
Still got the second visit in hand, remember, by virtue of the foul from Mark Farnsworth. So there's no real sign of urgency. This is just what Murray needed. Chance to get a feel for the table, the conditions, get his arm going, and put a little oil in that stroke. He secures his first frame, levels it up, 1-1. Farnsworth and Murray Dolan, 1-1 in the best of 17 quarterfinal. The winner to oppose Mick Hill. Farnsworth with the break. And the cue ball finds its way to that side pocket.
Yeah, that's a bad mistake there from Mark. You see here the replay of that break shot, that cue ball just tracking in, follow that red into the bottom middle pocket you see on the overhead shot.
And look at the table that Mark's left. All the reds in the open, yellows out of the way on the side rail. Great opportunity now to take the lead for the first time in this match.
Now this is connect the dots.
Yeah, he's only got the 1 visit. You're going off on the break. It's a 1 visit penalty.
Right.
But these are not a bad first 2 visits for Morray, are they? He's had two shots first for him, and ball in hand with a nice open table, so be quite relaxed how he started this match.
Yeah, he's somebody who's supremely confident in normal situations. And if you can bring that confidence to this TV table, in this World Championship arena, and he's got a great chance of progressing through to that semi-final.
Key shot here. He's got to drop onto that last red. So he's got a window if he doesn't want to get too close to it, and the other option would be to try and draw below the 8 ball, or to the left as we look. Just his preference.
Yeah, the sensible thing was to leave the distance, and I think he's found that window that you alluded to. Perfect position, draw the cue ball over, and leave the 8 ball into the left-hand centre.
Well, early indications, both players very comfortable in front of the TV cameras. Murray Dolan, his first lead of the match, 2-1 over Mark Farnsworth. Solid as a rock. Frame number 4, 2-1 his lead, and a chance to extend it right here.
Well, he didn't have any luck off the break, but there's a lot more power than there was in Mark Farnsworth's break.
You see the break shot again here. Quite a good split. Nothing found its way to the pocket.
It is well controlled as well. The cue ball was parked to the middle of the table. Just needs, you need to be lucky, really. There's no real...
Yeah, Lee, I was just about to say the only way that cue ball was going to find a pocket was going to be if it was going to be kicked in by one of the colors. But keeping that white on the table has to be the
30
priority.
seconds. Red ball's in play.
I'm just looking at the table now, Lee. I think he's got quite a good opportunity with these reds here. The black is awkward. We see there, bottom of the screen, parked on the rail. But
I think he's got the angle now if he wanted to play the red and disturb the black with the cue ball. See, it's very close to the cushion, but the cue ball should disturb that now. It's a great shot. It's just opened the frame up. So, good standard.
And it also shows that both players thinking the walk as well.
Yeah, it's easy to get confused. You only got a minute to play a shot. So it doesn't. It seems probably like 10 seconds when you're out there when you're under pressure, but both players are making it look quite easy at the moment.
Well, that's right, Lee, and sometimes pressure manifests itself not necessarily in a missed shot, but sometimes where the thought processes go awry.
You know, I think that's where, if you go back to the first quarter-final between Potts and Davies, unusually, Gareth Potts wasn't seeing the finishes, and that can only be pressure. He wasn't quite the normal Gareth Potts that's won this tournament for 3 times.
30 seconds.
Well, he's not happy with the speed of the white there, a little short of what he intended.
and just a little point there. He actually had the timekeeper calling 30 seconds actually as he struck the cue ball, but that is what the timekeeper must do, because if he was to actually get back up, we see our timekeeper there, Robert Shaw. If he was actually to get back up, then the timekeeper would have to call 30 seconds from then, and it might only be that he should have had 20 seconds
30
left.
seconds.
So he's got to call it exactly when it is, whatever the player is doing.
Yeah, sure. Would you been from the referee side? Do you think it'd be good at some point to actually have some sort of electronic system where you have a beep on the 30 seconds, so you don't hear the referee shouting 30 seconds? It's a little beep, and it doesn't put you off as much as a player.
Well, it's something obviously that could be looked at, I think, Lee. I mean, how would you feel that as a player if you were down on a shot and you heard a beep rather than a 30 seconds?
I think it'd be easy, because the 30 seconds can be more of like a shout from the audience, so you pull up, whereas a little beep you're sort of expecting it a bit more.
Good shot there. Farnsworth didn't have a full pocket and knocked that red in, and now he's given himself every chance at the frame.
Yeah, and he should be all right with the cue ball. He just needs to make sure that he gets the red. The yellow's broke up. Still okay, you can just clip the 8 ball into the right and centre. Tricky cueing, but it should be fine.
Brilliant. Terrific 8, punctuating a great frame from Mark Farnsworth, leveling it up 2 apiece here in Blackpool. Frame number 5, deadlocked with Murray Dolan. 2 apiece. The race to 9, best of 17. Gets a couple balls down this time.
Ball potted.
Both reds.
Yeah, again, we see the cue ball goes flying off to the side, though. Plenty of power. It just goes to show he hasn't hit the front ball solid, but he's still generating enough power to get a good break.
Just surveying the table
Yellow
now,
ball's nominated.
deciding which way to take. And he's opted for the yellows. I think probably because, almost certainly because there's a red stuck just below the left middle pocket, stuck on the rail, and he probably doesn't see a way of getting to it to deserve it out.
Well, the obvious problem, though, with the yellows is going to be those two nearest that red on the left-hand side. So at some point,
Yellow ball's in play.
he's got to develop those.
What you might see him do here is just develop him and leave him hidden behind one of those yellows. So just clip off it, make him in a possible position, make sure he hits a cushion.
Red ball's in play.
Now both yellows go.
Total snooker.
Clever shot.
And that puts Dolan under a little bit of pressure. And even more so now that he's missed. That was a simple escape, and he failed to negotiate it.
Yeah, that was careless, wasn't it there, Jimmy? Could have quite easily got that.
Yeah, big target to come off that rail. And he's missed it. As I say, given Mark an excellent opportunity now to regain the lead in this game.
Well, the ball, the yellow closest to the cue ball is the awkward one, doesn't go in any of the two corner pockets. But with his two visits in hand, should make it quite a simple finish for him, really. As long as he maintains his two shots.
Yeah, he's going to want those two shots for the yellow. The center of the table, the bottom of our picture. I'm not sure whether it passes to the left-hand corner. If it does, then it could be smooth sailing.
He could look at getting position off. He's got a ball into the top right. He was thinking he might come down and try and get position on one of these yellows to stun across and move the red. Well, he's missed that.
Yeah, I think he's trying to flick it in with a little bit of right-hand side and just caught it too full. So now he's lost his visit, his extra visit in hand. Still maintains his visit at the table.
And still the yellows are available. So it's still there to be taken.
And the good thing about once he did split those two balls up, the yellows are all around the bottom area of the table, so he hasn't got much work to do with the cue ball. Might help him to navigate around the awkward yellow, the middle one of the three as we look.
Very important that he leaves the angle on the penultimate yellow. When he knocks this one in, he's going to need that angle on that second last one to drop onto the last, because it appears as though it is only available.
Yeah, it looks as though he's in one middle pocket, and like you said, he hasn't got that angle.
No, and I was thinking it may have been available to the same pocket that he's playing this yellow, but I'm not sure it is.
He may have to play it with a lot of side spin if he can't. Well, he obviously thinks it goes.
You know, Lee, it does go. Our overhead camera was a little deceptive. I think this yellow flies into this corner pocket. Just a little short of what would have been ideal position, so he's going to have to bring the cue ball off the bottom cushion and swing it around the back of the reds. Well, he's using the red. He's going to hold for position to the center. Tricky pot, this one.
But one you expect him to get.
Oh, tremendous stuff. He had to get the finish once he threw his second visit away, and he did. Farnsworth back in front, 3-2.
Morray Dolan to break.
In frame number 6 to Murray Dolan.
Time running.
He trails 3-2 and needs a good break to get back into it. He took a little off that one, but he got a ball down.
It's a superb split again. Potted a red. So there's the option of, if he nominates reds, he'll be on that colour, or he can decide to take yellows We must pop one on this next shot. So I think you're probably looking at taking reds here, Lee, do you think?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll take the reds. He's got the reds, which is nearest to where the cue ball is, to take down the rail, and that's really the only difficult shot.
Red ball's in play.
He's nominated the reds. So it is quite an open table. And now they've started this match out, you'd expect him to take the finish. Well, he's starting with a double.
Well, that's a shot of somebody who's supremely confident.
He knew that was his awkward ball and he attacked it straight away.
And that could well seal Farnsworth's fate in frame number 6. A great opening shot. You said he was a very confident player, Lee.
Yeah,
a lot of self-belief.
He plays very quickly, very positively, and he's a nice player to watch, so he's quite capable of getting on a quick roll. But you see, he always looks like he's digging in the cue ball, likes to play with lots of spin.
He's certainly made short work of this clearance here in this 6th frame. He looks to level this match up. And just taking that little bit of extra time on this finish. Just want to make sure 100% of his position. Doesn't want to get let any careless mistakes creep into his game. He knows that every chance he gets, he must take if he's going to progress in this event.
Let's get that cue ball back out towards the middle of the table now, and that'll be the order of the day. Once again, to get back to level pegging. And he gets the 8. 3-3. Nothing in it between these two. The first 6 frames have been split.
Welcome back to Blackpool. This 4th men's quarter-final, a really tight affair. And Keith, we've been watching the action all the way, and these two players are sort of matching each other shot for shot, aren't they?
Well, I did say at the start this was going to be such a hard match to call, and I did think it would be a very close one, and it's proving to be that way. It certainly is, yeah.
So again, if I put the pressure on you and said, come on, give us the winner.
It's so hard to pick one because they're both playing very well, very attacking, very positive. It's really whoever gets over the line first. I don't want to call it. It's just unfair to...
Okay, I'll let you off this time. Let's get back to the action right now.
Already 7th frame, 3 apiece. Mark Farnsworth, the qualifier, at the table with the break.
A better break, not a lot of power again, but he controlled the cue ball a lot better. Draws it back in a straight line. Far better break from Mark Farnsworth.
Red ball's in play.
Yeah, the memory of that cue ball into the side pocket a few frames ago, Lee, still weighing in his mind. He's making sure that white stays on the playing surface. Bit of a choice here. He's looking at reds and yellows. Looks like reds are going to be the favorite.
Yeah, he has nominated the reds, Jim. He's just got the two reds on the left-hand side of the 8 ball. Slightly overcut it.
Yellow ball's in play.
He's just stretching now on the shot.
With him potting a red off the break and nominating reds, he stays on that suit, so it is yellows to play.
One of the few misses, though, that have crept into Farnsworth's game here. But he has not smiled, not since they've been introduced.
30 seconds.
As Morray has a look around, you can see there's 2 yellows stuck together on the right-hand side of the table. Probably needs to disturb those at some point.
I wonder whether he's got the angle to disturb them late here, or is he looking to maybe just drop this yellow into the jaws of that corner pocket? Well, he just take control of it.
He may have the angle to get behind him. They may go back into the bottom left-hand corner. The problem is if he does collide into the two yellows, which are together, he's going to knock one to the cushion where there's a red block in the pocket. Morray's not normally the sort of player, is he, that's going to play on the tactics.
30 seconds.
He was obviously not sure of exactly how to proceed, because we're hearing that 30-second call on every visit.
Yeah, that was always a danger. When he ran into those two balls which were together, he was always going to knock it towards the cushion where there's a red over the middle and a red over the corner.
He's having a look, but I think he can get through to this yellow to the side pocket, the opposite side. But he's got a couple awkward yellows now on the right-hand side as we look. So this is a very tricky finish.
It's probably the hardest finish of the match so far.
If he gets out here, this will definitely send a message over to the Farnsworth camp.
Yeah, he's probably going to look up to take the yellow into the top right-hand corner, leaving himself an angle on the one down the rail. Then he can let the cue ball drift over to the right-hand side, then he's got a great opportunity.
You know, just to illustrate how popular this game is, you know, two relative unknowns in the world of 8-ball pool, but there aren't many empty seats out there.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised Morray took that ball, because he's still got a red in front of the yellow near the middle pocket. It's a tough finish to go for, and I felt he did go the wrong way there. He could have took the ball to the top right.
Well, as you said earlier on, Lee, he's a very positive player, Morray Dolan. Just a little bit of concern showing in his face there, a little shake of the head. So Mark Farnsworth now, another opportunity again to regain that lead.
Yeah, Mark's more likely to play the snooker, so he's just going to roll behind, buy a little time. And Morray style, he probably would have gone for the finish, but Mark's more of an all-round tactical player as well as a potter. Won't do anything silly.
I think for Dolan here, he can just touch up to that red, Lee, and not leave an awful lot. He can hide the cue ball so that Morray can't see the one top right. And that's exactly what he's done. Like a tactical foul.
He may allow, if he's not touching those, Sean, he may be able to play straight off the edge or through the red and pop them one in the middle. He thinks he can clip off it.
Second visit.
No more insurance policies for Farnsworth. So if he wants to try and finish, he's got to do it here.
Well, I don't think there's any reason for him not to take this finish on there, Jim. He just bided himself a little time by playing the snooker before. So he'd had to waste the first visit, but you would expect a player of Mark's calibre to finish these reds off now.
Yeah, the key red is the one nearest the yellow, top of the screen now. That's the only ball you can see causing Mark a problem. It does go into the bottom left-hand corner.
He's actually called for time. He's looking for the rest, I think, here from the referee, Phil Turner. I think he's just, because he remembers he stretched earlier on for a shot into the top left-hand corner pocket and left it in the jaws.
Well, Shawnee's decided to stretch again. He's told Phil to keep the rest. He doesn't have to do too much with the white here. Just trundle the red in. He's got the red into the center. He'll play the red over the corner pocket, I feel, next. And then drop onto that red nearest the yellow, Lee, the one you alluded to.
Yeah, it's all about the position that he gets on that. If he gets himself right behind it, that's the hardest short part of the finish.
bit of a miss hit there. And he's caught the side of that red instead of hitting it flush to draw straight back towards the middle, so he's going to have to come with a shot now.
Yeah, to be honest, there was no need for him to leave the cue ball in that position. You see there, he's having to stretch over and bridge, so there's no need for him to, you know.
And he didn't cue that one either, but he requires a good shot now to continue. And what a shot he gets. And look at the position on the 8. What a reply. Talk about digging yourself out of a hole.
Did you see how long he stayed down on his shots?
In the easiest of 8s to keep his nose in front. 4-3. Farnsworth over Dolan. Dolan at the table. Frame number 8. 4-3. He trails, and that won't put him in good stead.
One visit, open table.
No, because that is a big mistake. You see here, that cue ball's flown straight into that middle pocket. See Dolan at the moment standing, electing not to sit down. He wants to survey the table. He's going to see what Mark is actually going to do here first.
Well, what he hasn't left is an easy finish this time, so there's a lot of work to be done. See the 8 ball's tied up by the yellow ball.
30 seconds.
And that's the reason why he's taking the yellows. He knows that he can clear that one out of the way.
Unfortunately, that's a bad miss there, Lee. Really.
Well, it certainly gave him a chance to seize the initiative in this frame. Now, the mistake from Dolan has virtually gone unpunished.
The only saving grace, though, is it's still a tough finish. The yellow and the red at the bottom of the table are tied up.
Yeah, you've got that cluster of balls around the black on the left-hand side.
So there's a lot of pool left in this frame, I feel.
30 seconds.
Just not sure where to start. But one thing he does know is that shot clock has got to be winding down.
You see there, getting extremely close to that 1 minute. I think he's just had to get down and play something very quickly there, Lee, hasn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he was sure about how to take the finish out, so he didn't know whether to go reds, whether to go yellows. So the time run down and his thoughts run out, I think. He just played a shot for the sake of playing a shot.
Yeah, I think we saw a similar thing in the Gareth Potts game. I think Gareth got to about 59 seconds and he just literally had to just get down and play something with no real great thought into
30 seconds.
the consequences.
Red ball's in play.
Well, caution to the wind there. Pot and splits come out okay. The 8 ball's still tied up, but all the reds are in a more positive position than they were when he first came to the table.
Yeah, he's got a problem with certainly one of those reds on the right-hand side rail there, the one that's closest to us, this end of the table. So he's going to have to develop there. With having that red near to the black, though, going to that middle pocket, and he might have a chance there disturbing that black out then.
30 seconds.
Certainly freeing its path up into a pocket.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't do him any harm. That one does, because he didn't make the pots.
Yellow ball's in play.
Not but careless.
A few mistakes coming now, halfway through this match. Nearly going. Kind of gave us an idea that these two were very seasoned in terms of handling the pressure. Now I think it's starting to expose itself a little bit.
I'll tell you what, with that one shot, Morray has opened this frame right up now.
So Morray comes to the table. Good chance to take the finish out. Again, it's all about where you put the cue ball rather than the difficulty of the pots.
Yeah, it's going to be one key shot here. It's going to be possibly taking that yellow into the left-hand middle pocket and getting on the yellow to the right of the black.
Time out.
He feels like he's had a bad contact there, so he's asking the referee to clean that cue ball.
I think what he'll be trying to do is to get the cue ball on the side rail. So once our referee has cleaned an extra spot off the cue ball.
Time running.
Yeah, he's played to run on and off the cushion, wants to white right on the rail. Absolutely perfect. What a great shot. He'll be playing to pop the yellow into the centre, move the red off, and leave perfect position on the yellow. Excellent finish.
Couldn't have placed that cue ball any better. And again, as you noted, Sean, that one double completely opened this frame up. And it was Dolan who seized it. 4-4. And it's Mark Farnsworth to break frame number 9. 4 apiece. And as they go hand in hand to the finish line here, you know the pressure will mount.
And yet again, no balls from the break, turning the table over to his opponent, to Morray Dolan.
Yeah, if Morray can take this red, you see there, he's a little bit of mountaineering here. He's sitting on the table, and providing he keeps a foot on the floor, it'll be a legal shot.
Red
So
ball
to get that first red, and he's on a great opportunity here.
He's never been in front in this match. He lost the lag, and Farnsworth took the opening frame. I'm correcting myself. He was 2-1 in front, actually. He led it 2-1, did Morray Dolan. So he'd love to get that odd frame in front again here. And he'll never get a better chance.
I was just going to say the same thing, Jim. Excellent opportunity here for Dolan. You say to regain that lead. I just feel that if one of the players gets a little bit of momentum and gets a run, we could see similar things happen in the Mick Hill Tom Ford, where it was neck and neck up to about the halfway stage, and all of a sudden Mick went up a gear and turned it on.
And that's a terrible mistake for Morray. A relatively simple pop for a man of his calibre. Doesn't look too upset about it, but he would like to have finished those off and took the lead. And it's up to Mark Farnsworth to punish him, make him think about that mistake a little bit longer.
I think that's important, Lee. Those subtle little messages that are sent back and forth. And this is a chance for Farnsworth to mail one to Dolan.
Just a measured approach here from Mark, taking his time. Just making sure he plots his way around this finish. Doesn't want to make any more mistakes. Made a couple of mistakes in this game so far. I think he's tried to get back for the yellow there, Lee, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was a good part, but the second part of the job, position, went awry. So now he's got a real tough shot, bridging over the 8 ball. He's just made this shot missable.
Yeah, he just overstruck that, didn't he? Just a little too much cue power.
30 seconds.
And miss it he has. Has he run through far enough? He had a quick look to see if he's covered the reds at the bottom of the table.
I think he has. You look on the overhead there. Think he can get through? We see there this camera angle.
And Morray's trying to flick off the side rail. Just a containing shot, but all he's done is turn the table back over. He can get to the yellow over the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, I think he tried to catch that red in behind, didn't he, Lee?
I think he did. His options were to try and flick it into the pocket or try and contain him at the bottom of the table, and the white's just crept over to the left-hand side of the rail. So Mark's let him off once. He doesn't want to let him off twice.
Not a good shot there either from Mark. He's caught that too thick. He wanted that cue ball further out towards the middle of the table. You watch it, the top spin taking effect and holding that cue ball. A thinner hit on that yellow would have brought that white into the middle.
Yeah, I think we saw he struck it about half ball there.
Yeah, I think what happened there, with him not being used to the TV table, when you play a lot of topspin onto the cushion, it kills a white.
30 seconds.
So you need to play it more centre ball, then the white would have run on off the cushion. What a great shot that was.
And then some. Had to dig into that cue ball. What a great shot from Farnsworth there.
And that's opened that frame up. The frame up completely now. So just had that little awkward little cluster of balls there.
He's overscrewed that one. A little bit of adrenaline. Didn't want to go behind the 8-ball. So he's still okay. He can still clip the yellow into the centre pockets, but not as pristine a position as he would have liked.
But he's really forced to have to pull out some shots. Yeah, another good one.
We've certainly seen his potting ability.
And keeping himself just in front. He replies. Mark Farnsworth, 5-4.
Yeah, a little shake of his head there, saying, what am I doing? Making an easy finish look very good.
Murray Dolan trailing 5-4 at this stage. And that's a good break.
A very solid break.
Ball spotted.
3 yellows down.
See there, the breakout shot. That cue ball sort of
Red ball's nominated.
back over towards the side there, Lee.
Yeah, but it's his best break of the match, that was, Sean. Good solid break. Good cannon developing his
Red
bad
ball's
red.
in play.
So a great opportunity to peg the frame back and tie the match up again.
It seems like every time Mark has done something special, and in the last frame he knocked in a couple terrific shots to secure it. Dolan has come to the table with just a little bit more impetus. A little bit more determination.
Yeah, it certainly seems to have just fired him up a little bit, and maybe that's what he needs, just to, you know, get into a flow.
What he also needs, he needs the 2 reds near the middle pocket on the right-hand side to go. So he's hoping the top one of the 2 goes into the pocket. I'm not sure he knows which way to go at the moment. So having a good think about it. Needs to make his
30
mind
seconds.
up. 30-second call's been made. And that's what he was worried about. The red went into the pocket, but he was always going to cannon the other red closer to the rail.
And that now becomes his problem.
I mean, to be fair, all he's got to do is drop onto the one into the bottom right-hand corner pocket, and he'll have position on that red, take it into the middle pocket, and then just drift the cue ball up the table for the black.
The other option is he may take it long if he hasn't got the angle.
Because he looks like he might just have too much angle here on this pot.
Yeah, he could possibly take it now, cut it into the middle and play position on the other red. Just having a look which way he prefers to go. And it is a middle bag first. Well, that's done everything but drop in the pocket.
That is absolutely incredible. How has that not dropped into that pocket?
Well, it wasn't hit hard enough.
As we see the replay again here, yeah. I think you're right, Jim. He didn't hit it. I mean, just look how close it is there. We saw on the replay.
But this is now become a big frame. If he can extend his lead to 2, then he's going to be applying the pressure, and you can't see any reason why he wouldn't do that.
Well, I think if you're Murray Dolan, you have to feel like this frame is gone. After that miss and the position of the remaining yellows, certainly if I was Murray, I'd feel like 6-4 was the score the next time I came to the table.
Again, nice controlled performance here from Mark Farnsworth, not rushing. I'm sure if Dolan had been at the table, both of the yellows would have been disappeared by now, and he would have been on that black, but Mark's just taking his time. Say 1 or 2 careless mistakes in this match, so doesn't want to make any mistakes here.
Well, neither player has ever been 2 frames clear. And Farnsworth, after depositing this 8, sees himself 6-4 in front and into the comfort zone. Mark Farnsworth punishing Dolan for that mistake.
So I called 9-5 early on in the match. We didn't get any predictions off you guys.
Well, I did say, Lee, that I thought it'd be close, and I think this potentially could go all the way to a 9-8, 9-7, 9-8.
It's Farnsworth with the break. Frame number 11. 6-4 his lead.
And yet again, nothing down.
Open table.
Look at Dolan's face. There'll be no more prisoners taken.
Well, that's a little bit careless. Come to the table very quickly and just got down and played the shot, so I think a little bit more care should have been taken there.
Yeah, particularly that wasn't a straightforward plan. There was quite a distance between those 2 balls there, Lee, and that, as you say, some more care required on that shot.
He's not having a little smile in the chat with his buddies anymore, is he?
No, I mean, it's okay playing quick, but sometimes you just have to, need to take care.
Little wry smile there from Dolan. But,
30 seconds.
I'm sure he must be hurting inside.
And again, this is where Mark has to apply the pressure back and make that miss stick in his mind.
Red ball's in play.
It's a good pot.
He's going to have to come with another.
Not sure he can see the ball. Top left corner pocket.
Yeah, he's having a quick look now. I think he can just get through, Sean. 1 good pot required. And that's been the difference so far in this match. When Mark's been asked a question, he's taking his chances.
Still waiting, Sean, for one of those shots where a guy's going to spin it. So I'll let you know.
Yeah, and certainly the way this frame is panning out, this match could be now getting away from Morray Dolan. You know, if he loses this, it's a 3-frame deficit. Mark would only be 2 frames away from a place in the Fosters World Pool Championship semi-final.
And he just held his hand up there to say, I've had a little bit of fortune. I flicked off the red I didn't intend to, and he's got perfect position.
Now the red nearest the yellow in the center of the table looks to be awkwardly placed. Difficult to tell if it passes to the bottom left corner. Certainly if the other red was removed, it might. All depends how Mark sees removing these reds.
Well, if he doesn't want to take it in the corner, Jim, he could take it into the right-hand middle. So it's all about the angle he leaves himself on this shot. He looks quite happy, so he must have the right angle to probably just drop it in and take the red to the right-hand centre. He had a quick look where he wants to leave the cue ball.
Actually, this looks perfectly.
Yeah, you can just run it through.
And again, the storyline, the mistake from Dolan, the punishment from Farnsworth. Murray has had his chances, but it's the man at the table who has laughed last. And that's the reason he now enjoys a 7-4 advantage. He's 3 frames clear. Mark Farnsworth looking good. Frame number 12, 7-4 to Farnsworth.
Ball potted.
One of the last balls still moving, finds gravity into the side pocket.
Red ball's nominated.
Does it just look there? As we see that break-off shot again, it looked like it was going to be a dry break. And the yellow just kept trundling on and found the middle pocket. He opted to go reds early, and it's a nice split here. This is a great opportunity for Dolan. It's just what he needed at this point in the game.
That's right. I mean, out of the 2 players, Morray has broken better, but out of the chances, Mark's taken the chances better. So a great opportunity for Morray to close a gap.
Certainly see from that shot he's not shirking from the task here, sending the cue ball flying round in position on those 2 reds.
You know, a man that was looking forward to coming to Blackpool and felt that his breakout season was at hand. He certainly doesn't want to depart the Imperial Hotel with his tail between his legs.
I don't think he knows now that was the best shot in the world he's just played there. He's left the cue ball parked on that side rail.
I think what he has done is made himself pull out a pressure pot. You know, he's missed a couple of shots recently, and he's just trying to build himself up for one big pot. Taking
30 seconds.
More time than he normally would. He's missed it by a long way.
Barely threatened the corner pocket, that one.
Yeah, and he's not even secured the pocket either on the shot, so once again another great opportunity we see there. Didn't even threaten the pocket.
I mean, certainly at the second half of this match, there's only been 1 player that's been making mistakes and 1 player that looks like he's going to win this match.
A look of resignment almost from Dolan.
I don't quite think it's there yet.
30 seconds.
It's certainly not looking good.
Did anyone predict 9-4?
No, certainly not our studio guest, Mr. Brewer. He was predicting a very tight game, and I think he was suggesting it might go all the way to a decider. But that's looking... chances of that are very slim at the moment.
Morray looks like he's in a world of his own now, just cleaning his trousers and trying to stay focused, hoping for another opportunity in this frame.
Also looking like a man who's trying to fool everyone into thinking he's at ease. I think he's far from it.
Just had a little bit of luck there. The cue ball almost found its way into the left-hand middle pocket. You see there, it's actually just hit the knuckle and come back. So,
but having said that, Sean, it's just made it a little bit trickier for him. Now he's got to put the ball into the top right-hand corner, bridging a little more awkward over the middle pocket. Fully expect him to make it. Make it he has. But he's a little bit short on his positional play.
Yeah, I think he had to just opt for the safer shot there and not try and force that. As you say, he was cueing awkwardly there, so he's now looking where he needs to be leaving the cue ball after this next shot.
Well, he's just trying to weigh up whether to take the L on the bottom left or the bottom right.
30 seconds.
Well, certainly the more difficult of the two, bottom left as we look. This one the easier one, but position not a formality.
That's a great shot.
When you can negotiate the gap between the colors like that.
Yeah, it was a great shot there from Mark Farnsworth. As you say, that gap is only probably a couple of cue balls wide.
Yeah, you can. I don't think the middle yellow between the two balls will go, so he's probably forced to take the bottom one. Having a quick look, so he might be close to potting.
30 seconds.
Just get the sense, though, that he's a little edgy as he nears the finish line. And I don't know whether he needed to play it in that fashion. Looked like he could have just stunned that one in, held the cue ball. He wouldn't have been anywhere near this red.
Or he could just run it through on and off the cushion, took the yellow into the right and middle. Now this is a test. A big test. And this is probably a 2 and 10, how he's bridging. So being jacked up over the reds makes a shot probably 6-7 times harder. Needs to be careful not to foul. And what a great catch.
Tremendous shot. Stayed perfectly still. His head never came up until that ball had departed the playing surface. But he's still got one more hurdle to get over. Some kind of performance. Mark Farnsworth gets himself to the hill. 8-4. He leads Morray Dolan. Breaking for the match. And that cue ball straight into the corner pocket.
It's the second time Mark's gone in off on the break.
Open table.
One was in the middle pocket, we see there. He screwed it straight back up the table.
He'll have at least 2 more breaks, even should Morray Dolan force this to a decider. That's a long way to go. Certainly Dolan has to recognize the situation. He can't afford any more unforced errors. Too many have been slung across to Mark Farnsworth. Now it's gut check time.
And to be honest, where you see these yellows now, how they're lying on the table, there shouldn't be anything difficult about this finish.
Well, it's all cue ball control, like we alluded to earlier. It's not a case of having to buy any big pots. It's just getting the right side of each of the yellows left on the table. He's cued that one very well. Got himself nice and high. You've got the yellow just to the left-hand side of the red and middle of the table, which you'll need to get on. It's a clever little shot. By playing the yellow off the red, he's opened the pocket for the yellow to go into the other side, if he so chose to go that way.
Sped up play a little too. Haven't heard the 30-second call yet. You mentioned that he was a little quicker than most. Perhaps he just feels like now he wants to get on with it.
Well, he knows now that probably one more mistake in this game and he will be on his way home.
Yeah, and ideally he would like to have been a little straighter on that. He's played a good stop shot. Bring the cue ball up in between the two reds. Has he gone far enough?
I don't think he has, Lee.
That's careless.
And I think right now you could fry an egg on his forehead.
Yeah, you see, that's one of those shots that Morray likes to play. As you said right at the top of the game, he plays with a lot of spin, whereas really he didn't need to play the shot like that.
A lot of player would have just punched up in between the two reds.
He will be sick. He had plenty of space to get that cue ball to there.
Well, we're going to see a
50 seconds.
Trick shot here. He's very good at these shots. He's made the contact, but probably just...
He could be contacting Mark Farnsworth's hand in the handshake pretty soon.
Well, I think he's just he's held his hand up to say that's probably going to be my last go. Either that or he's apologising for my 9-5 prediction. It's a clever little shot, developing the balls.
Everything in the open. Now it's just down to Mark. He's got to keep his nerve in check and just let that back arm perform as it has in countless hours of practice.
Just tried to develop that red off the side rail and just missed it.
Surprised that he did, because he didn't really need to play that. He could have played behind it. The black's at the bottom of the table. Could have took it down the rail with an element of safety. You'd expect to knock it down the cushion anyway.
I'm not too sure if I was playing this. I'd play the red on the right-hand cushion right now. He knows the cue ball is going to come back towards the middle. He's not going to leave the 8, even if he missed it.
Yeah, that's why I thought he would have just played on it last time, Jim. He could have just played with element of safety. He's got a free go at the red.
No danger at all. The only chance for Morray Dolan here is to try and fluke that 8.
Well, I'll be trying to kick it off the back cushion, trying to pot it. And he's coming off the side rail. He's going for the snooker.
Trying to just drop behind it here. And
what a great shot that is.
That's rested right on it. That's perfect. You see how the referee Phil Turner got right in there to make sure.
I'm clapping that shot myself. What a fantastic shot that was. Still in a lot of trouble, because if Mark hits the balls at the top right-hand corner, you know, he's in the same position. Yeah,
but he may have a chance at this 8. Even contacting these reds, the 8 could be exposed. And I think it might be.
Yeah, he's left him a chance at the 8. So watch the cue ball. It's going to be travelling. But the most important part is get the 8 and hope for a little bit of lady luck with the cue ball.
Awkward bridge in there. He's got his hand right in the pocket.
Oh, he's had a little bit of a lash at that one.
I think you see Mr. Farnsworth there parking that cue ball right on that, behind that other red, which is exactly what he's done.
Tightening the vice.
Well, that's game, set,
Dolan
match.
snooker.
This is probably going to be Morray's last shot.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any mileage here, Lee, in playing a tactical foul, is there? You know, he could look at just touch the cue ball with the tip of his cue here, but Mark could just use one of his visits to get out of that position, and all the balls are in the open for him.
Yeah, he is playing the tactical foul just to try and keep him on the one visit.
2 visits.
Well, that cue ball could have landed in a more friendly area.
I think it's too bad there, Jim. He's actually just to the side of the red. He's going to be queuing at the cue ball, so just needs to hold his nerve here now, Mark Farnsworth. He's just 5 balls away from a place in this year's semi-finals.
And he certainly has looked the better player, and I think Morray would have to concede that fact. Farnsworth has been just marginally better, fewer mistakes, and he's knocked in more key balls.
Yeah, at the start of the match it was toe-to-toe, but it's been the strength of Mark Farnsworth that has just forged his way through to this, his first World semi-final.
Well, interesting, he's duplicated Mick Hill. Should he complete the win here in this frame, Hill and Tom Ford were 4 apiece going into the 9th frame. The same here. And that's when he's performed his best, when it's been required most.
It's been a solid performance here from Mark Farnsworth. 1 or 2 mistakes, but those mistakes went unpunished by Morray Dolan. And now 1 ball away from the World semi-finals.
Just settle himself nicely. Keep his head down. And with it, secures the victory. Mark Farnsworth, 9-4 over Morray Dolan. He will now meet Mick Hill in the semi-final. Our last four confirmed here in Blackpool.
So in the end, a very convincing victory for Mark Farnsworth. Let's take a check now on the full quarter-final lineup results. Gareth Potts going out 9-6 to Adam Davis. Darren Matthew beaten 9-2 by Phil Harrison. Mick Hill, a brilliant winner over Tom Ford. And we've just seen Morray Dolan really falling away and Mark Farnsworth going through to the second semi-final. That means that the lineup for the semis looks like this. And Adam Davis faces Phil Harrison and Mick Hill against Mark Farnsworth. So Adam Davis against Phil Harrison, that's up next. Let's get the verdict then of Keith here in the studio. What do you make of what we've just seen and looking ahead to the implications for the semis?
Certainly a game of two halves there. I thought the first half of the match both players looked strong. But the second half of the match, Mark was completely solid, whereas Dolan really was quite poor in the second part of the match.
Yeah, so we got the prospect, if we go ahead to that second semi, that should be quite a semi with Mick Hill and Farnsworth.
Certainly, if Mark can keep up that kind of standard, Mick's got a game on his hands, but I have to say Mick looks the most impressive player that we've seen so far.
And what about the semi involving Adam Davis? That's going to be good against Phil Harrison too.
Yeah, you've got two very steady players there indeed, you know, really solid. It should be a fantastic semi-final, that one.
Thanks very much indeed. So there we are. That's what's coming up next time. The only place, of course, to see it is here on Sky Sports. Stay with us. We're back very soon with that. Take care. We'll see you next time from Blackpool.